Okay, so now that you have a basic understanding of CSS keyframes, now we're going to start our project, which is going to be a pure CSS image slider. Okay, so let's take a look at it. Basically, we have a set of thumbnails, all right, and then we have a big image, and when we click on a thumbnail, it's going to have the image, the bigger version of the thumbnail, slide in. All right, and you can see it slides right over the last image. Okay, so even if we go here and then we click on this one, it's going to slide over the last image clicked. And also when we hover over it, you see we have this nice little description blurb thing. All right, so again, there's no JavaScript. This is all CSS. So we'll be structuring it. We'll be positioning the thumbnails and all this, adding the background, things like that. And these images are just images that I created using Photoshop. Obviously, you can change the images if you want. As far as HTML markup, there's not much. Most of our work in this project is going to be in our CSS file. Alright, so if we take a look at the structure, we basically just have our index page. We have an images folder which has 7 large images and 7 thumbnails. Alright, and as far as the sizes, the big ones are 700 pixels by 350 pixels, and then the thumbs are 80 pixels by 40 pixels. And you'll be able to change sizes if you want to use larger or smaller images. So basically, let's just go ahead and create the structure. Okay, so I'm just going to call this folder slider, and we want to create our main HTML file. Okay, then we want a CSS folder and an images folder, and I'm just going to take those images from the finished product. Feel free to use your own images. Alright, and then for CSS, we're going to create a style.css file. And that's it. We're not going to use the Eric Myers reset file. What we're going to do is add a little code in this file to set some defaults or some resets. Let's go ahead and open up the index file. Might as well open the style sheet as well. Okay, so let's create our basic HTML structure. Okay, we want our doc type, HTML5 doc type. Title, I'm just going to call this pure CSS slider. Okay, let's go ahead and link our style sheet. Okay, we'll do a type. This type attribute is actually optional with HTML5, but I like to include it, and this should actually be CSS. Alright, so there's the head. The HTML is actually going to be pretty simple. Alright, so basically let's create a container. And I'm going to give it an ID of container because we're only going to be using one. Alright. Alright, and if we look at the product, you can see that it's pushed to the middle, so we're going to have a margin of auto to push it to the middle, give it a width, and then let's go ahead and add our title, our H1. Alright, and what we need to do now is create our thumbnail area. So this is going to be an unordered list. I'm going to put these in a UL tag and then just float them through the CSS so that they run horizontal. Okay, so let's create a UL, and I'm going to give it a class of thumbs. Alright. So basically in here we're going to have our image, and we're going to have it wrapped in a link in an A tag. Okay, so let's say href, and then this is going to go to the ID of slide 1. Alright, so it's this is an A tag that's not going to a different page. It's going to simply go to the element that has the ID of slide 1. Okay, so we're going to give the larger image this ID. Okay, and in here we want our image tag. I'm going to make this a little bigger. Okay, so we have an image. It's going to point to our images folder / thumb1.jpg. Okay, and that's good. I'm not going to use any alt text. And then the text, which is going to be the image description, is going to be wrapped in a span tag, so we can style that. Okay, so for this we'll just say this is image 1. Alright, so we have a list item which contains a link. The link goes to the ID of slide 1, and the link is wrapped around an image to the thumbnail, and then we have a span with the image description or title or whatever you want to call it. Alright, and we're going to have 7 images, so we need to copy this. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and now we just want to change where these links point to. We want to change the IDs. Okay, change these as well. Okay, so that takes care of our thumbnails. Let's just take a look at this. It's not going to look very good yet. Okay, so basically we just have our list with our images, links, and span. Next we want to create another unordered list, and we want to give this one a class of slides. Okay, so even our large image are going to be placed inside of a list, an unordered list. Okay, so let's say list item class. Now we want an image to display when we open the page, so I'm going to give this first image a class name of first, so we can do what we want with that. Okay, and then of course we need our ID, which is going to be equal to slide 1. Okay, so you want to make sure that this ID matches the target of this link up here. Okay, we can close that, and inside of here we just want an image. We want it to go to img / slide1.jpg. Alright, so that's all we need. Let me just copy this. Okay, so actually we don't want this class first for any of these, just for the first one. Okay, and we'll change these numbers. Alright, so there's our unordered list of large images. Alright, so that's all we need for as far as HTML. Everything else is going to be done using CSS. So in the next video, we'll start to format this page a little bit and make it look presentable.